Thanks for joining. This is Dave Pearson, Regional Educator for L'Oreal Professional for the state of Florida. I do handle the southern part of Florida, and I have an amazing partner for the central and the north. Her name is Ray Presnell, so go check her out as well. She is Ray_Presnell_hair. All right, what I'm going to be doing is doing a quick tutorial on BlondStudio 9, and I'm going to be doing slices of BlondStudio 9 with 30 volume. And then once that's processed, I'm actually going to then transfer over to Majirel GLOW into the dark families. I'm going to use a D.10 to try and create more of an oil slick look. I want to cool down some of the highlights that she's had before. I think I've, in a class previously, done some highlights on her. If they line up with what I'm doing today, great. If not, we're going to tone them dark and cool them off. All right, so let's get going. All right, so I have one side done. I got 3 slices on this side. I'm working on 3 slices on this side. I had to take a break from filming. They're doing some construction next door, and it's just really loud. So I want to try and minimize that noise for you. But I'm gonna just walk you through my last placement. So I am going to take my slice from right here. This is the last one on the side. Grabbing my foil, tucking it under. I am using the dedicated BlondStudio 9 foil. Got any more? Okay, and then I am just going in and painting this slice. All right, nice and saturated. So, get a better look at what we're doing. What's great about the foils is that you can cut them as long as you need, so there's no need to swirl that hair up on the end, because you can make your foil long enough to get to it. All right, still going to just feather this a little bit. Don't want a hard line. All right, but I also don't want it all the way to the root, so I want her roots to remain dark. And then we're just going to do the glow blue over it. All right. So that's her third side, or her second side rather. And then now what I'm going to do on her mohawk is I'm just going to do some of the 3D sections as well that I did on my tutorial earlier in the week. All right. So I'm just skipping the DIA process, so we're not doing a root shadow. Right, she already has dark hair, so I don't need to go with that. All right, so I'm just going to cut this 1-inch section about in half. All right. I'm going to drop the back piece, and then this is what I'm going to 3D paint. So on this piece, I'm going to paint the sides, the front, and the side. I'm not going to touch the back. All right. And this I'm doing more as if it was a balayage application. Because it's at the root, I want it to remain rooty, right? I want it to look naturally grown out as well. So, therefore, we're doing it balayage. So my Majirel GLOW, once I get to it, is going to cool any of the warmth that's created from this lift down. It will also add some blue tone as well to give us that oil slicked look. Continue to saturate that. And then I am still going to be using my BS9 foil for separation. I need it for that heat retention, so I am still going to do that. All right, just going to give it a few more sections through the front. I need to make up a little bit more lightener. They started up with the noise again, so I'll check back with you in a second. All right, so I'm down to my last section. So I'm going to go ahead and take about half of this section as well. But on this one, I'm going to, instead of leaving down the piece, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to leave a little bit from behind it, right? So I get some separation from the blonde in front, and then I'm actually going to leave out that front hairline as well. So I always want, with this type of a look, I always want the hairline to be natural, and then the color to be an accentuation around it. So again, I have these 3D pieces that I can go in and paint on the side. See that there? Again, not going to the root. I don't want it all the way to the root. I want it to be shadow looking. I'm just going to go ahead and put in my foil to keep that underneath piece nice and clean. Now I can just tighten this out and then lay this one back and then go ahead and paint this piece. Right, I'm just kind of freehand painting. Again, I'm not looking for saturation through the whole piece for it to go through. I still just want to paint the surface. So I really just want to skim the hair with the glue, the Majirel Glow. So, but by doing the Majirel Glow globally on that full head, which is what my intent is to do next, I want to cool down the brown. So that's going to happen. And then any of the pieces that were light, I want to cool those down as well. But I also want to leave behind a hint of blue. And that way we can get that oil slick effect. All right, so that's my application for now. I'm going to just let her process for a while. I'm going to move her out of the way of my air conditioner vent so that she can dry in a natural environment with all the lights and everything going on here. I have to crank the air conditioner down to make it cooler in here. So I want her out of the way of a vent so she's not getting any direct air conditioning on her while she's processing. All right, so I'll check you later and we'll go on to step number 2. All right, guys, we're back. We're ready for step 2. We're ready to go over the BlondStudio 9 pieces with some Majirel Glow. I have my full tube of dark 0.10, so that is a triple blue going into the developer. I already have measured out. I'm using a full tube, so that means 2.6 ounces of developer. So that's going in. Got my handy key. Squeezing every last drop out of that tube. All right, and the trick I always say, keep the cap, throw the cap inside the shaker. It helps to shake the mixture. It acts as a ball bearing mechanism to help, like you would in a spray can of paint, right? It just helps it shake. You want to get it nice and mixed, makes it super creamy. You can tell when it's mixed because it stops moving back and forth because that's how creamy it is. All right, now just a couple things to show. So we got some nice lift from that BlondStudio 9. So all of these beautiful light pieces are all from that BlondStudio 9 that we did, right? The 3 on each side, and then the Mohawk painting that we did with 3D. And so now we're going to do a global application with the Majirel Glow. Now, I didn't blow her dry, I just let her air dry a little bit. Majirel can go on dry hair, it can go on towel dried hair, or in this case, air dried hair. So she's probably about 80% dry right now. So that's not gonna, the water in there is not gonna hinder any absorption of the color. So, disclaimer, All right, I am choosing to break a rule, but I'm doing it with purpose. So rather than using Majirel Glow with Majirel 12.5 volume, 20 volume, or 30 volume, I'm actually breaking the rules and I'm using 9 volume DIA Activator. Reason being is that I really don't want to see any lift on the base, okay? And so the 9 volume is going to do that. It's going to give me very little lift. 9 doesn't typically lift. But in this case, I'm mixing it with ammoniated hair color, so it is going to budge a little. But because the pigments are so strong in Majirel Glow, we're going to be able to neutralize that warmth, and it shouldn't be a problem. So just wanted to put that out there as a disclaimer. I am breaking a rule. I know why I'm breaking the rule. And so as long as you know the rules, you can break them. So I am just going to do my standard quadrant here, 4-part application. So I split her right down the middle. Right, all the way front to back. I'm going to go from the top of the head to the mastoid process. And I'm going to hold out section 1. Legs up. Same thing on this side. The top of the head, mastoid process. Section 2. All right. Also, right, legs up. And in the back will be sections 3 and 4. Leg up. And then we'll start here. So this is where we're going to start. We're going to start in the back. Let me see if I turn her this way. The lighting is a little better. That might be a little bit better because I have a light behind me there. And now I'm just going to start painting the Majirel Glow everywhere. So I'm opening up my shaker. That's how thick it should be when you shake it in a shaker. If you mix it with the whisk, you're never going to get it that thick. All right. So Majirel is meant to be shaken. Always scoop out the residual. That way we're not wasting any color. Salon owners don't like it when you do that, right? Because it costs them more money, and then in the end it ends up costing you more money because they have to charge you higher fees for color. All right. So I'm going to, like I normally do, because I'm doing a global application, I am just going to go around her parting, nice and clean. Just to get the separation there. We don't have to rely on those clips so much once we put a little color on that. Right? Do both sides. Then you don't have to go back and touch that again until you're ready to. Right? Get this side. So that's what she looks like. And then I'm going to start from the bottom, and I am going to work my way to the top. And I'm going to saturate every piece as I go. So I still need one more clip just to help me manage this hair so it's out of the way. All right, get that in. We're going to be doing a lot of glove work today. Smoothing the color all the way through. You want to work it in. So we want really good saturation for this. All right. Drop the next section. And repeat one more time. So get that root. Start to bring the color down. Now remember, this is why I mixed up a whole tube. I'm covering everything. All right, work that through. So on these pieces that don't have highlights, what's going to do is this Majirel glow that I'm putting on it is just going to neutralize any warmth in that dark brown. And so it's going to end up being like a really rich smoky brown, which I love. All right, we're just going to repeat this all the way through the back. Once we get back to this, the side or the transition, I'll come back and show you. All right, so we got one side left. I did both sides in the back. I worked on the left side of the head. And as I said, I did the horizontal all the way to here, then I switched diagonal forward to here, and then all of these were done vertically. So all of the hair lays off your guest's face. All right, so then we have one last section here. We're just gonna repeat it one more time. One more piece painted for you. So again, I'm taking vertical sections, moving hair up out of the way, taking this section, and then applying my color, and then making use of my hands. All right, we wanna push, we wanna fill, we wanna manipulate the color into all of this hair, right? Just using a brush, it's not gonna get it everywhere. And so, you know, with this type of an application, you really need to work it in to make sure that the hair is all completely saturated. All right, because the last thing that we want to do is to have one of these brighter highlights poke through when everything else has been cooled off, right? So just look for spots while you're pulling the color through and see, like, do you have any spots that doesn't look colored, you know, looking like it's brighter than the rest, because you want to go back and make sure that you get more color on that part. All right, just kind of one more section for you, and then we'll be back when she's all done. All right, again, vertical section, loading the brush, taking about a 1/4 inch section. Look at that BlondStudio 9. I mean, it did the trick, right? That is pretty amazing. 30 volume, she was like a level 4, and she got that light. And this is with mannequin hair, so imagine what it's gonna do on a real human. All right, paint that in, get the saturation there, and work it through. Sometimes it just feels good to get your hands in there and really take control over the application. You know, normally when we're all just doing touch-ups with the brush, you know, it's all, we're in, we're quick, we're in and out, right? But with something like this, she's gonna be in your chair a little bit longer, but the results are gonna be worth it. All right, and then you just lay it down. The whole thing gets laid down away from your guest's hair. Have a towel handy so you can always wipe off your hands. And then I'm just gonna finish this up. When I come back, she'll be complete. And then you'll be able to see what she looks like dried and everything. All right, thanks so much.